This video ends when I win the Champions League with Dortmund. In 1997, Dortmund were crowned champions of Europe, beating a star-studded Juventus team in the final. Dortmund won the game 3-1 against the Juve side, including Zinedine Zidane, Cristian Vieri and Alessandro Del Piero. Then, with Jurgen Klopp as manager, Dortmund made the final again in 2013, unfortunately losing to Bayern Munich. Today we will take charge of the Yellow Wall to take them back to the Champions League final and put their name on the trophy for the first time in 26 years. This Dortmund squad is packed with talent, with several top players in their prime like goalkeeper Gregor Kobel and Niklas Süle, but it wouldn't be Dortmund without a few wonder kids ready to emerge. Two key players that I will be shaping this team around are 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗 𝙗𝙗, the young German striker is just 18 at the start of the game, and Karim Adeyemi, who is lightning fast but pretty raw and lacks a lot in terms of his mental attributes. So to get these two wonder kids to hit their potential, I will be running GYR's Hawkeye tactic, which is a 4-3-3 but uses 3 strikers and looks like this in game. I will be pinning Moukoko and Adeyemi into these positions for the season, so they play as many minutes as possible. In Season 1, we will have 3 competitions on the schedule, and we will be looking to replicate Dortmund's success in their real-life Champions League group. Whilst this save isn't about the Bundesliga, I'd like to overthrow Bayern at the top of the table, but that could be tricky as they are overwhelming favourites to secure a 34th Bundesliga title. Kicking off the Season 1 review, we have the DFB Pokal, the German Cup, and we were terrible. We got through the first 2 rounds against lower league opposition before facing Stuttgart in the 3rd round, where we came unstuck, losing the game 1-0 on the road. In the Bundesliga, we were wildly inconsistent, picking up big results against the likes of Bayern, but losing to teams like Bochum and getting slapped by Hoffenheim. However, it was a pretty good debut season for Moukoko in this save, who finished as our top goalscorer in the league, bagging 17 goals in 33 Bundesliga appearances. Towards the end of the season, despite being in the title hunt, the wheels fell off with 4 defeats in 6 games. However, even with that run, we did finish above Bayern, but sadly didn't win the title as Hoffenheim pipped us to the league title by just a single point to win their first ever Bundesliga title. However, we're here for Champions League glory, so it's not really the end of the world, but I do want to win that Bundesliga title. We were drawn in Champions League Group H and picked up 11 points from our 6 games to finish 2nd behind Napoli and sending Newcastle into the Europa League. In the knockout stages, we came up against Inter Milan and we were at home first. It took us a while, but we finally made the breakthrough in the latter stages of the game. After an own goal from Francesco Acerbi, we added goals from Adeyemi and Marlon to open up a 3-0 lead. And this was just as well because in Italy we struggled with Inter winning on the night, but we did manage to bag 2 goals in a 4-2 loss that would see us move into the quarter-finals. PSG would be our opponents here and we would entertain them in Germany first. Defensively, we were strong in this game, keeping a clean sheet with Sebastian Haller scoring the only goal of the game. On the road, PSG had to attack, and this is where we started to pick them off, with goals from Haller, Moukoko and Sabitzer to score a shock 4-1 aggregate win and move into the semi-finals. This is where we'd face English opposition in Arsenal and even took the lead through right-back Julian Ryerson. Arsenal did manage to pull a goal back through Martinelli, but deep into injury time, skipper Marco Reus popped up in the box to tap us back into the lead on the tie. Taking a lead back to Dortmund, I was confident that we would advance to the Champions League final in season number 1, and this could be a 1-save, 1-season wonder, but Arsenal had other ideas. On his return to Germany, Kai Havertz pulled the tie level in the first half before Eddie Nketiah fired the Gunners into the final. Season 1 was full of near misses. We got close in 2 of the 3 competitions, but ultimately ended up with nothing. Going into the summer, we have £37 million in the transfer budget, but I think giving some of these young players time to develop is all they need. This summer, we topped up our transfer kitty with a sell of 2 players, as Felix Nemecha joined Celta Vigo for £16.5 million, and sadly we say goodbye to Jamie Bynoe Gittens as he returned to England, joining Coventry for £6.75 million. Now, normally I wouldn't sell a player, especially an English player, with this guy's potential, but he's an out-and-out winger and we don't have wingers in this formation, so rather than him getting disgruntled, I thought it was probably best to just sell him. On the incoming side of things, we raided RB Salzburg for defensive midfielder 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙕 𝙈𝙚, who will be our new anchorman in this midfield. Next, we signed Brazilian striker Marcos Leonardo from Santos to complete the trifecta of young, athletic forwards to terrorise defences this season. He cost us 14 million as we activated his minimum fee release clause. And then finally, we spent a whopping 70 million bringing in Cristian Vieri to the club from French side Nice. Now, I know this is a lot of money, guys, but he is an absolute beast. This season, I'll be pinning these 4 players into position as we continue to develop 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗. After their surprise league and cup double last season, we will take on Hoffenheim in the Super Cup, along with the Bundesliga, Pokal, and Champions League. We kicked off the season with the Super Cup where we took on Hoffenheim, and this would be a very close affair that was settled via penalty shootout. Hoffenheim scored all 5 of their penalties, but Julian Brandt saw his penalty save to see Hoffenheim lift the Super Cup and continue their domination of Germany. Sadly, our disappointment didn't stop there, as yet again, the second season in a row, we faltered in the Pokal. Having beaten Siegen and Hamburg in the first 2 rounds, we lost away to lower league opposition in Dusseldorf in the 3rd round. However, in the Bundesliga, we were a completely different animal. We got off to a flyer, beating champions Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich in our first 2 games, going on an unbeaten run through to November. I was expecting another impressive season from 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗, but he damaged his cruciate ligaments in a game and missed 6 months of the season. Despite the injury to 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗, the rest of the squad rallied together, with 6 players scoring in double digits, en route to us winning the Bundesliga title by 6 points. And we carried that impressive form into the Champions League, as we were impressive in the league phase, beating everyone that wasn't from England, securing 18 points from our 8 games, and automatically qualifying for the round of 16. Here we'd face Sassuolo from Italy, and we were on the road first. We raced out to an early 2-0 lead with goals from Leonardo and 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 before the Italian side lost their heads, receiving 2 red cards. Against 9 men, it was much easier, and we added another 2 goals to take a 4-0 lead back to Germany. At home, we added another goal through Sebastian Haller to put the game to bed and see us progress with a 5-1 aggregate victory. In the next round, we'd have a huge all-German affair as we would take on Bayern Munich, but this time we would be at home first. The game was a barnstormer with goals flying in left and right, but Harry Kane scored from the spot in the 94th minute to give Bayern a slender lead for the second leg. In Munich, we really meant business, scoring goals early through Thuram and Haller before Kane pulled a goal back for Bayern to make the tie all square. However, as soon as it was level, Adeyemi put the ball in the back of the net to give us the lead yet again, before Haller added his second of the game to see us win 7-5 on aggregate, and that was a huge victory for the club. In the semis, we would face Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, and the first game would be at the Etihad. Back from his injury, Youssoufa Moukoko opened the scoring, but Phil Foden was able to pull City level. But in the second half, we weathered the City storm and were clinical at the other end with a goal from Thuram and a brace from Donyell Malen. So we had a 3-goal lead going into the home leg, where City dominated the game yet again, but only managed to score 2 goals to see us hold on for a 4-3 aggregate win and progress into the Champions League final. This was a step further than last season, and we would take to the field to play Liverpool. Sula opened the scoring for us before Moukoko added a second, firing past Alisson. Luis Diaz then scored for Liverpool just before half-time, but Moukoko restored our 2-goal lead on the hour mark. However, Liverpool were not done there and battled back with goals from Szoboszlai and McAllister to send the game to extra time. The stage was set for someone to take charge of this game, and sadly for us, that was Mo Salah, who added 2 goals in extra time to see Liverpool lift the trophy and this video continue for yet another season at least. Looking at the finances for the summer, we have over £70 million to spend, and I think we're going to need to look at that defence because we definitely already have the firepower we need to complete this challenge. This summer was absolutely nuts, with us making over £200 million in player sales. The largest of these was the departure of Niklas Süle, who left to join Al Nassr for an initial £70 million. Look, I didn't want to sell him, but he's on 700k a week now, which I couldn't compete with. And when you get offered 70 million all up front as well, I kind of had to say yes. He was followed to Saudi by Emre Can, who joined 𝘼𝙗𝙈 for 50 million. Right back Julian Ryerson then joined Manchester United for an initial 50 million, and Sebastian Haller wanted more minutes, so joined Atletico for 41 million. We then took that money that we made along with our original transfer funds to spend 180 million on 11 new players. To improve our defence and replace that Sula-shaped hole, we signed Pierre Nkape from Leverkusen for £65 million and Ousmane Diomande from Sporting for £45 million. And for the right back spot, we signed Nordi Mukiele from Porto for £34.5 million and Elias Jalert from Copenhagen for £8.75 million. Also from Copenhagen, we signed Isaac Johannesson for £15 million, Sevi Helseth Naipan from Rosenborg for £3.3 million, and we also picked up Angelino from RB Leipzig to be the backup left back in the spot. Finally, on free transfers, we then picked up 3 backup goalkeepers because, you know, FM24. And Jonathan David from Lille to act as cover up front on a free transfer. So with these additions, here are our pinned players for the season, as I also want Naipan to get as many minutes as possible. Our schedule looks the same as last season. As Bundesliga winners, we will take on last season's Pokal winners, Hanover, in the Super Cup. But despite not winning anything yet in this save, Bayern are still favourites to win the Bundesliga. I guess that goes to show what the media think of this competition. Basically, it's Bayern's to lose every season. First up, we had the German Super Cup, where we took on Hanover, who took the lead early from the spot. But that goal seemingly sparked us into life as we came back into the game quickly with goals from Thuram, Moukoko and Leonardo. Hanover did score a second to make the game 3-2, but Thuram and Moukoko scored their second goals of the game to see us finally get our hands on the Super Cup for the first time in this save. And this season we had a much better showing in the DFB Pokal, actually making it past the third round for the first time. We faced Gladbach in the quarter-finals on the road and even came back from 2 goals down to win the tie 3-2, with Jonathan David scoring in the 89th and 95th minute. In the semis, we faced Bundesliga 2 side Hamburg, and again we came from behind to book our place in the final, where we would face Schalke. Schalke took the lead twice in this game, but each time we managed to peg them back and ultimately took the game to penalties. And this is where Gregor Kobel came alive, saving 2 Schalke penalties to see us lift the Pokal for the first time since 2021. So with those 2 trophies in the bag, let's see if we could complete a domestic treble with victory in the Bundesliga. We were pretty impressive in the league, winning 73% of our league matches, with the occasional loss coming on the road against some of the league's larger sides. It will be no surprise to you that we picked up our second Bundesliga title of the save, pipping Leipzig to the title by 4 points. And in the Champions League, we got off to a rough start, losing our first 2 games to Liverpool and Juventus, but then righted the ship, winning the remaining 6 to finish on 18 points and in 10th place in the table. That meant that we would have to play a knockout playoff fixture where we would take on FC Copenhagen. In the away leg, Copenhagen made things difficult for us, taking the lead before Jonathan David was able to pull us level from the spot. And in the home leg, it was much more professional from us, scoring 3 goals on the way to a 4-1 aggregate victory. This set up a round of 16 tie with Porto, and this time we'd be at home first. We were in control of the first leg, with Kefren Thuram scoring twice inside 4 first half minutes, and it could have been even more impressive, but Moukoko saw his penalty saved by Diogo Costa. In Portugal, we extended the lead to 3-0 through Marcos Leonardo, but Porto did battle back, with Dani Namasso scoring twice, but we weathered the late storm to move into the quarter-finals. Here we'd face PSG for the second time in 3 seasons, and we will be at home first yet again. We got off to a flyer with Moukoko bouncing back, scoring inside the first 6 minutes, before Marcos Leonardo made it 2-0 in the 50th minute. PSG clapped back with a quick fire brace from Antonio Nusa, but we then went on a goal scoring frenzy, netting 3 times in 5 minutes to win the game 5-2. In Paris, we extended the lead in the first half with goals from Ozcan and Moukoko to make it 7-2 on aggregate. PSG then did score twice in the second half, but it was too little too late, with us winning the tie and progressing to the semi-finals. Here we'd face another Portuguese side in Benfica, and we started like a house on fire, scoring 3 goals inside the first half hour. Benfica did respond with 2 goals in the second half, but then we added a 4th through 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 deep into injury time. In Portugal, for the second leg, we scored early again, this time with Karim Adeyemi hitting the back of the net inside 2 minutes. Benfica then levelled the tie on aggregate with 2 goals, but we then took charge again with goals from 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. This set up a Champions League final where we would take on Liverpool for a 2nd season in a row. Now I have to tell you, I have to give you this warning, this is going to be the craziest Champions League final you've probably ever seen on FM24. Yet again, we scored early with Adeyemi and Moukoko bagging inside the first 20 minutes. Mo Salah then scored to make the game 2-1, but then we went off. We added quickfire goals from 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, Adeyemi and Thuram to open up a 5-1 lead, and I was completely stunned. Liverpool did pull another goal back through Harvey Elliott, but then we went on another goal-scoring flurry, bagging another 3 goals with our hotshot front 3 scoring a goal apiece to see the game finish 8-2, with Alisson having a stinker, finishing on a 5.5 rating. So we did it! We won the Champions League after 3 seasons with Dortmund, and this team is already full of brilliant youngsters. If you want the save files to continue on the journey, they are over on my Patreon now, and if you like videos like this with bigger teams, check out this video where I try and break Benfica's curse.